Hey guys, it's Frazer. Today I'm taking a look at this small form factor gaming PC and it's called the MSI MEG Trident X. Now I was just kind of curious about the overall volume of it, so I took a look online and it says it's about 10.36 liters. So yeah, it's kind of a console-sized gaming PC, but I mean, it's still a bit bigger than the PS5, which is around 7.2 liters in volume. So it's about 3 liters bigger than that. But compared to your standard mid-tower gaming PC, it's definitely much smaller and a lot more convenient for people who like to travel with their desktop. You know, people who go to LAN parties or take their PCs to their friend's house and so on. Inside this PC is an i7-10700K with 32 gigs of RAM and an RTX 3070. I also had a little look online at the different Trident X configurations available, and I saw you could get up to an i9-10900K with 32 gigs of RAM and an RTX 3080. Now it's possible to achieve these high-end specs because inside this system are all standardized components, which also means that you can easily repair, change out, or upgrade individual parts in the future by yourself if you'd like, which makes this PC extremely consumer friendly. Alright, so let's look at connectivity. We have your standard stuff like USBs and video ports, which we'll identify on screen now, but most noteworthy of all these are the Intel Wi-Fi 6 wireless LAN, the 2.5 gigabit LAN, Thunderbolt 3 USB Type-C, and 7.1 channel HD audio with inbuilt Naheemic 3 audio enhancer. So considering upgradability, the MSI MEG Trident X has a Z490 chipset, so that means you can drop in a high-end processor like the i9-10900K, which we did talk about earlier. In terms of graphics cards, there's support for full-size GPUs, which leaves plenty of potential for future upgrades in that place. In terms of RAM, we can put 2 sticks of DDR4 RAM up to 64 gigabytes in total. I thought I'd mention though that you should keep in mind the clearance below the CPU heatsink because it sits quite low. For storage, there are 2 M.2 slots. One is a SATA PCIe combo slot and the other one is just a PCIe slot. And there's also mounting for 2 2.5-inch hard drive or SSD devices. Lastly, the power supplies used inside this case are fully modular and SFX form factor, so I would imagine that replacing them later down the line is entirely possible. So given you can install such high-end hardware inside a case this small, you're probably wondering where all that heat's meant to go. Essentially, MSI found it very effective to split the cooling across 3 individual cooling chambers, allowing components to cool themselves individually. And you can actually see this on the outside of the case itself. On one side we have 2 vents, one for the graphics card and one for the power supply, and on the other side we have one large vent dedicated to the processor. You'll also notice that the Trident X has a kind of gamer-inspired design, but it's also quite modest with only subtle styling. I personally preferred this approach because it won't look completely ridiculous if you put it in a more toned-down environment. There's also some customization offered on the PC with several different RGB lighting zones. Also included inside the packaging are 2 different side panels. One's the metal side panel, which is pre-installed, and the other is a glass one. The glass one does look a lot nicer, but the metal one is definitely very useful if you want to travel because metal is obviously much less likely to break than glass. So that about wraps up everything that I had to say regarding the MSI MEG Trident X. They make an awesome option if you're looking to decrease the typical gaming PC footprint into a much smaller and more manageable size while still maintaining full-size desktop performance. If you'd like to learn more about the MSI MEG Trident X, then please check the product links we've left below this video. And as always, thanks for watching.